actually coming back from the Impact taping, and we had changed and developed this news show called The Good News with Greg Davis and Lady Nicole Green. I had segments and all that kind of stuff. And long story short, as I was driving in the car, Pastor, you'll get this. Bishop Silas's wife, Jennifer called me. I was driving from, and let me say this, Pastor Jennifer and I knew each other, but we wasn't girls. We didn't hang out. You know, every night we saw each other. We'd text each other every now and then, like, hey, you know, bless you, whatever. But we didn't talk on the phone or hang out. I was driving home from Detroit, and I just got off the phone with my husband. He's like, you good? You on the road? You ready to go? So, you know, and he prayed, and, you know, I'm on my way back. And my phone rings, and I see Pastor Jennifer. And I'm like, Jennifer calling me. So I picked the phone up, and Pastor Jennifer said, hey, woman of God. I said, hey, woman of God, how are you? And she said, the Lord put your name on my mind and told me to call you. He told me to tell you that you're coming into a season where you're going to go out of what's familiar to what's unfamiliar. I see lights all around you. I see you, and I don't want to misquote her, but basically she was saying that she saw me going on television and going into a network. She said, I can't, she said, some kind of network. She said, but it's an unfamiliar space. She said, and God said he's with you, and that you, she said, he said the time that he said he was going to transcend, that was the thing. He said, what would take people 20 years would take you 20 days. And I said to her, you don't understand. As I'm driving back, because I know God is telling me to leave where I am. And I don't know where I'm going. I said, but I do know he got better and more. And she said, the Lord told me to stop what I was doing and call you right now. She said, I want you to know that God said what he promised you, you are going to see that and so much more.
The Pink Pulpits Podcast, the gospel according to her. The Pink Pulpits Podcast explores the living, learning, and leading of women in the 21st century. How does the modern woman handle the world the gospel way? This podcast is for women in ministry, women surrounded by ministry, and so many more. Join us weekly on Saturdays at 6 p.m. for the Pink Pulpits Podcast, the gospel according to her.
And so I'm going to invite some women to the stage, those that you've heard already, and a couple that you haven't. And we're going to have an honest conversation. This is called Pink Pulpits, the gospel according to her. I hope you've been sending your questions to the thing. I'm going to invite them up real quick. Will you give a round of applause, hand clap for Pastor D. Williams as she comes on the Pink Pulpit? Give it up for Kathy Taylor as she comes. Give it up for Marette Brown Clark as she comes. Will you give it up for Pastor Carol as she comes? Will you give it up for Pastor Sarah as she comes? Can y'all come on? Don't be looking like that, Sarah. Come on. Anyway, okay. Don't get caught up. I already said that. Marette heard me. Marette, you over here. I'm over here. Yeah. Oh, they did? Okay, I'm sorry. Carrie, you go over there on the end. Marette's going to be right here on this side. All right, y'all. This is the gospel according to her. Y'all ready for the conversation? Are y'all ready for the conversation? Okay. Make sure you send your questions there. So let me go right into it. This is the first panel. This panel is called The Assassin's Creed, Identifying the Secret Agents in Your Life. I know, somebody said, So the first question, and I'm going to ask Pastor D to start, and Kathy. How can you tell a secret agent from a real friend? And what, right? I'm telling you, we're going in, y'all, we're going deep. How can you tell a secret agent from a real friend, and what are the red flags?
You want me to start? Okay, so I don't know why I'm starting first, but sure. A secret agent, here's one of the things that you'll quickly learn about me, those of you who don't know me. I'm very straightforward. I'm going to ask you, and I've asked people, okay, who are your friends? Okay, who do you hang out with, and what do they do? And so I listen to who they name, and I can tell from that I'm not supposed to be in that circle. Depending upon who you're with, that ain't for me. I don't hang out in those types of crowds or those types of people, even church folk, certain ones. And so I kind of just make sure that being upfront, being who you are. If they're a secret agent, they're going to eventually move away from you. If they're a friend, they're going to stick to you because they're going to like what you're pushing.
I'd just like to say, just to add to what she said, a secret agent will bring sorrow. And your friend, just like the word says, sticks closer than a brother. Like, you know, Nick and I have been friends when she didn't have no money, and we was friends when I didn't have none. We shared back and forth to make each other work until times got better, you know. So a friend will stick with you when you right and when you wrong. They say, look, I'm gonna flow with you. Now you wrong right here, but I'm gonna flow with you. Now, agent, you'll come out the bathroom with your skirt in your pants and say, girl, that's cute. What you got on? They won't even tell you, you know, my real friend, I would tell her part of the story, I know you got to go on out. I was starting to lose a little weight. And so, you know, me, I'm like this, if I lose 5 pounds, I think there's 3 sizes. So I went on, got me one of them elastic skirts, and I put it on for one of my good girlfriends. She said, girl, you keep going the way you're going, in about a year, you're going to be able to wear that thing. She didn't hurt. So that's how you know a friend from an agent.
Was that good? That was good? That was good? All right, so Sarah, I'm going to have you start with this one. How do you confront them, especially when they may be wrong? Confront a secret agent. Okay, right. Okay, let me clarify. How do you confront them, especially when they may be right? So, a secret agent in your life, if you know they're a secret agent and they really are trying to bring havoc to your life, but there's some things that they're saying are right, how do you confront that?
I don't know that you confront it at all. For me, I just let secret agents be like Judas and hang themselves, but I can take the truth from what they're doing because it would better me, but eventually they'll move themselves out. So I don't spend and waste time on secret agents. I don't give them any secrets for them to agency. I just, you know, be polite and cordial and things like that, but I don't spend energy on people that I already know are secret agents. I know more than they know because when you are prophetic, you always know. And that's the thing that people fail to understand. They can try and be slick all they want, but there's that prophetic part of you knows what conversations they had, where, when, with whom, and with what clothes they had on. But you're responsible, as Pastor D said, when you're a lady in the limelight, and you're always a lady in the limelight because you're always in leadership, no matter if you're leading in your home, if you're leading at your job, no matter where you have a space of influence. So because you have a sphere of influence, you have to find out what's more important to you, to really spend time on that and put energy there, or to foster those friendships. But if they are saying something that is true and they have a bad intent towards it, you can still garner the truth because it helps you grow. It doesn't mean, you know, that it takes anything from you or that you're idiotic for taking the truth, because the truth will set you free no matter where it comes from. So if they want to take credit and be like, oh, you know, if I didn't tell her that, she wouldn't, you know, take your credit, but it's all right. You're only going to get a prophet's reward on that because you only sowed it with that. But I don't have to maintain or measure up or keep tab or accounts on that. They eventually will move themselves out. So I don't normally confront a lot of those things. I go, if it's my friend, no, then my energy for confrontation is there because I want to preserve that relationship. So it's worth confronting. But an agent, I'm not willing to preserve the relationship so they don't get any more energy than is vitally necessary.
If that wasn't good, I could drop the mic on that. She said they like Judas, they'll hang themselves. Jesus. And then she said she don't give them nothing secret to agent. Y'all need to take these little notes. That's it. So Marette, what if your secret agent is family? How do you deal with that?
Oh, that's easy. Just bye. So define family, right? We're all related to somebody, right?
Right.
So we're closer to certain family members than others. So if we're talking about the family that is already far off or not attached to you intimately, then that's not a problem, because you're always going to have those. Why did she do that? Why does she have that? I thought this. She don't call me back. She don't, like, all of that stuff. But if you're dealing with the people who are close to you, oh gosh, are they really secret agents? I would, I think we can identify the close people and then say that they're not. So my mother is not, my father, my sister cousins that I grew up with, from zero to now, not zero. Those people show who they are immediately. They love, and that's it. So I feel like the secret agents kind of in your family stay a little bit at bay. That's just been my experience. That's just my experience.
So I think that's a great point, because it's all about experience, right? And so for some of us, that my mama's been a secret agent. Not my mama, but some people, you saying, no, my daddy was a secret agent, my mama was a secret agent, and you got to ask the question, how do I deal with that? That they don't, and even sometimes they don't mean to be, but they are. Whether it be an addictive issue, whether it be, not emotionally able to handle parenting,
Okay, I can answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so you set boundaries, right? So what I'm gathering is a secret agent may be somebody who is in your life, but they may not always have your best interests at heart. Okay? And there are times that it's true, a mother can be jealous of a daughter, or a father can be jealous of a son because of their own insecurities, inferiorities, and complexes. You're not responsible for the insecurities and deficiencies of other people, regardless of who they are. But you are responsible for being respectful and honorable. Does not mean that you are obedient. After you become an adult, you honor, but you're not required to obey. And so you can determine by creating a boundary. For example, if you have a mom or a parent or a sister or a cousin or something that comes in your space, and every time they come, it's one of those jealousy kind of things. You feel it, and they're like, oh, so you got new furniture. Oh, I mean, when my light bill was due, you didn't help me, but you can find furniture. And it's one of those, the low shady kind of compliments, the passive aggressive thing. You were like, you know what? Same like faith on me, same like faith on you. Come over to MS. We learned faith over here. That's where I got that from. You can put them in their place without dishonoring them, and you don't have to feel responsible for their lifestyle either. So I think you create.
Enjoying the Pink Pulpits Podcast? Be sure to like and follow us on Spotify at Pink Pulpits Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube at Pink Pulpits Podcast. Like and save our website at pinkpulpits.org and get our amazing No More Silly Women app to get all updates on the Pink Pulpits Podcast. And remember, it's the gospel according to her.
I just really feel bad in my life. I see your life progressing, Nicole, and I don't see my life progressing. Now you have an opportunity to serve them with truth, an opportunity to help them with faith. So yes, there are people that will be right upon you, and your life may mirror or highlight something that's not in their life, and they don't know how to handle that. And then there are some people that are just deliberately, I've seen, like I say, some families where people are deliberately circumventing and undermining other people in the family intentionally. So in those kind of cases, I really do believe that God will make your name good. When it says that no weapon form against you, and it says every tongue that rises up against you, you will prove to be in the wrong. So the more, it's like this, when you're in an argument, the more calm you are, is the more the other person look crazy. Right? So in that same situation, you be calm, you be steady, you can set boundaries. Well, Pastor, I don't want them over my house. Then don't host it over your house. Thanksgiving just not at your house, because you know that mama and all of them have to come. You can't invite her without doing the other, you're going to create more division. So you know what? Charlie going to have it over at his house, but I'll bring a dish. Set a boundary for your own peace. That's kind of how I think.
Both of those are good. Y'all got it?
That was an example.
That was for you. Praise the Lord. Perfect. All right. Praise the Lord.
I want to just add a little something. I had an experience where a lady was having problems with her marriage, but her mother had 4 or 5 marriages that did not work. So her mother was talking to her from her experience. Leave him, honey. I wouldn't take that. So. And then, so when she talked to me, she said, girl, if I keep him now, my mama going to be mad at me. She said, wait a minute. If you're going to stay with your husband or not stay with your husband, that has to be your decision. You can't. So sometimes they don't mean to be an agent or whatever, but they just are because of their experience. So we have to use our discernment and know what's what and who's who.
That's good. Can y'all give it up for them? You just answered the next question. Can you all share a personal experience or antidote where you had to identify and handle individuals who were not genuine or trustworthy in your life? And then what lessons did you learn from those experiences?
I think, like I said, the whole Thanksgiving, that was a real example. I actually did that. Right, so we used to host Thanksgiving all the time. But then people come in and they don't want to contribute to the food, they don't want to clean up, they don't want to do nothing. And I would be sitting down there from Kingdom Come that morning all the way up to evening cooking, and then be left with it and expected to serve and expected to honor and expected to accommodate and all that. And then siblings and cousins and people just roll up in there and roll right out. And I could see that my heart again was like, this don't seem right. And then you were going to criticize our life though. Criticize our abundance, but it was okay for you to eat from it. So there was one Thanksgiving that I stood at the door as everybody was going out, and I said, so before you go, it would be great for you to help me with these dishes here. Because now I was getting annoyed. And so after that Thanksgiving, I said, we will never have Thanksgiving here anymore. We can have it somewhere else. I'll have Thanksgiving for us 4 and no more. But if we're going to have Thanksgiving that includes everybody else, it will be somewhere else. Because I'm not going to year after year keep accommodating an environment where it's not honoring and respecting, 1, our sacrifice, 2, the faith and works that it took for us to get to this point to be a blessing. And I'm just not going to do it. And I just could not do it anymore. So that's how I set a boundary, which is what I'm saying. That's where that example came from. It was a real thing for me. And when I tell you peace, everlasting joy, overwhelming, oh my God, hallelujah, came. And y'all just too bougie. You know what? All right. It's okay. But I'm not $500 deep in for you eating up my food, and I don't have 3 piles of trash. So you know what? That's that. And so it really brought a lot of peace to my immediate family at that time, because I was at peace. And yeah, we went and I did exactly what I wanted. I helped to clean up. I didn't stay for the whole time, but I helped to clean up while I was there. I gave what I would have expected, and I was good. So that was just to answer that.
That's good. That's good. Pastor Karen.
Yes, thank you. Well, in the position that I'm in as a business owner and my family, I've had them to come and work for me. And I realized that it's not the right thing to do. And I've had them in my environment when I wasn't there, undermining me. To my staff, when I wasn't present. And it was interesting because they actually came to me and wanted to work. I didn't ask them. And I thought, well, maybe I can use them as a sub from time to time. But while they were there, one of my other staff persons says, do they really like you? And I'm like, what? Why would you ask that? And it was because they're always saying, well, if this was my business, I would be doing this, or I would think that she would be doing this if she really knew what she was doing, just really undermining me. And so not trustworthy, even though they may be your family. And then, sadly to say, I have a very close family member that as God began to bless me, and I'm faithful, you know, I work hard, I'm faithful, I serve, I give, I sow, and I just believe it's been my season that God has blessed me, but they undermine my blessing. And just recently, I'll share this. A couple of years ago, I think it's almost been 2 years, God really blessed my husband and I. We moved into, we call our retirement home. And we had the family over, you know, and celebrated. And then there was another occasion that we were going to get together, but it wasn't going to be at my house, but the plans fell apart. So my husband, as generously, he said, well, why don't we just host it? And those same people said, well, we were just at her house. Why we have to keep going to her house? And I was like, okay, it wasn't that you need to just come. We were just being, so you can't always trust even those that you think is in your corner. And sometimes your family is the one that can hurt you the deepest.
Wow, anything you want to add to that? I know Pastor D, you down there ready to add.
Well, no, I mean, again, I'm very confrontational.
New work in the house.
So I'm listening, and I'm like, really? Wow. Because I host Thanksgiving, not this year, I'll be in Cancun this year, but typically I host Thanksgiving at my home. And I understand exactly what you're saying, but I will say, okay, y'all, we need to get these dishes done right then and there. It ain't mine either. Good. That's good. That's good. But even in that, but I'll say, okay, y'all, and I'll say, even when it comes to fixing their plates, hey, food gonna be here. You don't have to pile it all up at one time. I'll say that to them because that's just, you know, when you go to I was told when you go to somebody's house, act like you've been somewhere. You know, and so you don't have to, you know, over dog the food and waste it and, you know, all that. And then my food be good, so don't be wasting it and throwing it in the trash. Now I feel offended because you don't waste my food and my dollars, number one. So I'm very confrontational. I will say to them, don't, you know, y'all, we need to do these dishes. We take this trash out. Hey, out if it's a guest. Hey, brother so-and-so, can y'all help them take the trash out? That's just me, because you're in my house. You know, I'm serving you, and I am a server. I'm going to serve everybody. I'm going to make the man of God, make sure he eat first, and then everybody else say, this is the order that we do. I do my son-in-law, I do my son, and then the rest of y'all can fall in line. But after my 3 minutes taken care of, the rest of y'all can eat. That's just me in my household. And so when I say that, I'm not trying to say, like, you know, I got it all together, but I say it, and they know where I'm coming from. They know that if they don't fall in line, that they ain't coming back. I don't have to tell them that.
Right.
They know they will be on the uninvited list.
Right. So let's unpack it a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
Because you're talking about that on Thanksgiving. When we talk about Thanksgiving, right, we have a bunch of different types of people.
And Sundays. I do Sunday
right,
dinner at my
Sundays,
house every Sunday.
Right? But in your relationship, your husband had to establish you for his family.
He absolutely did.
Okay. So if that was not done,
Yeah.
how were you going to do that?
Me, I'm probably still going to say.
Right, but I'm saying,
But
right,
I
right,
hear you.
right.
I
So
hear
how are
you.
you going
But-
to do that?
but
Because
you're
you're going to
absolutely
create,
right.
you're going to create stress for your husband with his family. One, possibly. Again, not your particular husband.
Yeah.
We're not using
You're
your
right,
husband.
You're right.
Your husband
You're right.
validated your position in his
Absolutely.
life.
And only
Therefore,
a
I will
husband
back
can do
you
that.
no matter what.
And
Right?
only a husband can do that with
Exactly.
his family and his
Correct.
friends for his wife. You're absolutely right about that.
So
Only a
if
husband.
you
husband,
don't
I have
have
a-
that, again, they don't have to come back.
Right.
You still
my
have
husband and
They don't have to come back. But then on the other part, and I'm gonna be done. The other part, as far as having family work with you and for you, we have both of our children and their spouses worked for us. They have since they graduated. Most of my employees at my school are members of my church, and they're my spiritual sons and daughters that I've raised from like 5 to now they're like in their 30s. So, but they know me. So even when there's a situation in the school, I don't let anything be, I heard what they said, and then I don't address it. I address it right then and there. For example, I had a young man, he's not a member of our church, but one of our teachers made a statement to some of the students. And so we do our Tuesday morning call every Tuesday morning. So on the phone call, say, hey, this is a Christian school. Number one, we don't talk about nothing unless it's in the Bible, period. If that is not, you are not the Bible teacher, do not talk about the Bible. That's me. And so when I got off the phone, the principal said, I know you was talking about, so I said, yes. And when I see him, I'm going to have the face-to-face with him. So they held me off. Don't know. My son's like, Mom, just, I said, all right, y'all got one day. I told her, y'all got one day. One day, and they be glad I left out, go out of town. But what I'm trying to say is, nip it and be honest. I'm honest, and my assistant, my husband, the people that know me, Nicole, if I say it behind closed doors, I'm gonna say it to you. Whatever I say, and if I say something and it's offensive, I'm gonna say, well, I didn't mean to offend you. This is what I said and why I said it. You know, and so for me, I think being who you are, being honest, and I'm a never take down. I'm a never dumb it down. I'm never going to do that. I'm going to tell you. So that here's what people want. I believe people want honesty. I believe people want the truth. I believe people want you to be straightforward with them. They can't always handle it, but I believe that's what people want and what people need. That's all I got to say.
Are y'all getting blessed today? No, I mean, are y'all getting blessed today? And to me, you're able to see every advantage point. I love the brilliancy of Moretta saying, you know what? No, I had solid relationships. My daddy, I ain't got no, that first tier, there ain't no secret angels in that first tier with me. Now, these other tiers, maybe some secret angels laying up, looming up in there, but, and she tell you, no, I got this home. My mama was one, this is happening. I pray that you all are really looking at kind of surveying your own life. Yes. And you're saying, hey, when we talk about the gospel according to her, we are kingdom women, got it? That are walking out this good news of Jesus Christ. And we've got to figure out what is our gospel? What is it that, how are we living? How are we speaking? How are we interpreting? How are we engaging? How are we coming across? What's really happening? Because everything is spiritual. Everything, I don't care what happens, everything. It didn't just happen. Everything is spiritual. Okay? And the enemy's goal is to make you believe it's not. Everything that happens in your life is spiritual because we're spirit first. Are y'all hearing me? And he wants you to think it's just enables the world, natural and all, spirit. And the goal of this podcast is help us to deal with it from a spiritual standpoint. Because we spiritual beings, and the devil wants us to be human beings. And that's how we're showing up, and that's how we're operating, that's how we're acting. Is this making sense to you? Is this blessing y'all? Did I have some questions there? People sending questions for this one?
Tune in next week for the Pink Pulpits Podcast, the gospel according to her. Be sure to like, follow, share, and subscribe this amazing weekly podcast with your host, Lady Nicole Green. That's right, the Pink Pulpits Podcast, the gospel according to her.